like we are the biggest enforcers of this nonsense, and it frustrates me. Explaining how that affects you as a human being now who is aware becomes extremely hard for a man that was raised with that entitlement, because basically that's all it is. Men are entitled to, and women should.
What up? Well, welcome to 5fm.co.za. My name is Smash Afrika for the babies, and I'm hanging out with Miss Brown Styling. To me, she is Lufuno. To you out there, she's the stylist to the stars in South Africa. She's a model. She's Vlad's mom. I've seen you in a few things. And also, one amazing thing that she is to people who get to interact and engage with her, she's a sister. Welcome to Unrestricted, Unscripted with Smash Afrika on 5FM. Look, this is the first time I do something like this.
For real?
This is not like my radio show.
That's amazing.
So, like when we say unscripted, unrestricted, hey, it's gonna be about that.
I'm excited and I'm scared.
Thank you for your time. Welcome to 5FM Unrestricted, Unscripted. First question, Miss Brown Styling.
Yeah.
Where did that name come from? And by the way, like I said, stylist to the stars, bro.
Yo, it doesn't sound me, bro. Yeah, no, that came from, it was a nickname that a friend gave me like years ago, like hip hop circles, and it was brown skin lady, and then it became Miss Brown, and yeah, when I became a stylist, Miss Brown Styling kind of happened. Yeah.
And that's your baby. I mean, it's your business, and it's also like, if you like, an extension of who you are, because your style comes from your mom. So you guys just gotta shout out the gene. The gene. So it's a part of you. How easy was it for you to like differentiate between Lufuno and Miss Brown Styling?
I think there's no difference really, because Miss Brown Styling kind of stemmed from Lufuno's personal style, and then that's when the work started coming in, you know, based on just how I dressed and how I looked. I could be confident enough to say, hey, let me style you, and the next person could trust me to do the job because of just looking at Lufuno. So there was no differentiation. I only split the two once Miss Brown Styling really became a brand, and you know, that became the business side of things, and Lufuno Love is like the personal side of things. Yeah.
You're full of love, man.
Do
you remember the first time you felt unconditional love?
Whew. I think my baby, you know, my son, like maybe it's a parent thing, I don't know, but I feel like once you become a parent, you really get to know love, because our kids see no fault. They just see we are like mini gods to them. We are like their world, and just having someone look at you, flaws and all, with so much love, with so much admiration, like looking to you for everything that they need and trusting you to give that to them. It's major. There's nothing more affirming than the love you get from your child.
Is it safe to assume then the first time you fully gave unconditional love was to your son as well? Because you...
Believe me, as a mom to a 2-year-old now, I thought I knew what giving unconditional love was when he was an infant. Toddlers will test you. So now, as a toddler mom, I can proudly say, yes, I'm giving unconditional love, because wow, what a trip. Like, wow, 2-year-olds are a lot. Like, you literally have to pull yourself towards yourself so many times in every interaction with them. So that's been the experience.
We live in a busy city, Johannesburg. I mean, everybody in Africa wants to be in Johannesburg. If you're thinking about creative work, you love to execute your creativity in Johannesburg and in the world, especially if you're from South Africa. How have you made sure that you stand out in this busy industry, in this busy city, in like where like people know that's Lufuno, or that's Lufuno's work, or actually, correction, that's Lufuno, or that's Miss Brown Styling's work. You know what I mean? Like, how do you? Is it something that you thought about doing when you started, or is it something that happened while you are on the journey? And how do you stand out?
I think, I don't know if I stand out per se, but I think my longevity in the industry stems from my realness. I'm not a fan, I'm not a groupie. I work with people, you know. So every client that I'm styling, we are colleagues, we work together. I'm sorry, I don't care if you're Beyonce. When we're at work, we're at work. And I can fan out in private with my friends, but once I enter into that space, I'm there to work, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Some people don't like it, but I'll keep it real with you. I'm not gonna lie, Smash. You know me. I'm gonna tell you, nah, that's not working. Right there and then, we're not even gonna force it, you know. And if it's great, it's great. I don't hype people up for the sake of hyping them up. I don't write people's coattails. So I work with a lot of celebrities, but I'm not trying to be friends with them if we're not that way inclined. We can work and leave it at that, you know. And I think that's what has kept me in the space, in the industry, because I'm not trying to get into anyone's pocket or onto their Instagram and, you know, take selfies and be seen with them. If I love you as a famous person, you know that I love you. And it doesn't take an Instagram post or whatever for for people to know that it's between you and I. It's our relationship. So I think that's where I stand out. You know, that's the standout for me, that whoever I've worked with has a memory of me as a person. I treat them with the respect that they treat me with, and we work and we make something beautiful, and that's where.
And we are people first. We are people. We are people first. We are not our profession and then we are people. We are not our father's children and then we are people. I like that. Music videos. You style music videos. Remember a time where South African music videos were whack? And the reason why I'm only going in that direction because you're one of the few stylists who are allowed to just, okay guys, we are bringing out the cream of the crop music videos. You know, there was an era in SA music videos where like we started seeing style. How do you rate South African music videos today? When it comes to, you know, the grooming and the styling?
I think we've improved quite a lot. You know, it's no longer just call your girls, tell them to wear swimsuits, and call your guys, they must wear their nice Jordans, and we're gonna shoot this thing. You know, now there's concepts, there's mood boards, there's plans, like there's concepts. Like I love seeing a story in a music video, and I enjoy that. It's even challenging to the stylists because now you have to create, you are part of the vision. You're not just bringing clothes on set for people to get dressed and go. You're literally creating a story. You are part of an art piece, and that's really exciting. And it's been a great journey of development. I mean, some people still stick to the old formula. That's on them, if that's what works for them. You know, ultimately I feel like in the age of YouTube, every music video kind of works as long as the song is great. But it's really lovely to be part of a story in a music video.
Now, the reason why I went to music videos are also used, sex is sold through music videos. The depiction of women in music videos is one that is like objectified. They are objects. And you gotta work with me though, because for the purpose of the interview, it's like, where, come on, come on, where does he come from? Like, are we aware of the level we objectify women as, like, from what you have seen and interacted with in the industry? Are we aware?
I think there is a sense of awareness, but also there isn't. But also I feel like now, and I'm going to speak for now, I'm going to speak for the women now. The women now have urgency. The women now have autonomy. So when a woman is twerking on a music video, it's because she wants to. You know, it's because she loves to do it. It's because she wants to be seen in that light. And that's on her. It's her choice. Whereas back in the day, I know a lot of girls that were tricked into showing up to a party, to a pool party, not knowing that their assets are going to be shot and put in a music video. You know what I mean? So it's literally, we're going to Smash's house, we're hanging out. Lufuno, bring your girls, you know, I'm going to have my boys. And then we're hanging out and somebody's taking pictures or video because it's fun. And you trust the space, right? Because Smash invited me and I invited my friends and my friends trust me. And that's all we think it is. And back in the days, women couldn't stand up and say, but I didn't consent to you using this on your music video, you know? And we could we could easily be tricked into going, yeah, but you came, but you actually took off your sarong, you went into the pool with your bikini. It's not like I didn't make you do that. You wanted to be in the water, you wanted to show your boobs, so I was just shooting stuff, like, you know, it's chilled. Now I can actually come back and say, no, you're not going to publish that, you're not going to put that out there because you know, and that's where the awareness is, that I feel like having one woman call this stuff out and stand up and say it's not okay gives every other woman the same strength to do so, but also it makes the men aware of their wrong in how they handle things. So it allows them to think before they actually jump into action and do things that can offend the next person. So I think the awareness comes from that, and I love the beauty of women who are actually like fully owning their sexiness and their sexuality. You know, I know a girl who actually runs an agency where she, you know, hires out girls, and it's a very professional, very serious thing. She's also a music producer, but her girls are like taken care of. So no one on set is gonna tap that spank it for the,
I mean, it's
you know,
unrestricted. It's unscripted, so spank.
Yeah, no one,
that ass is 2 pieces.
no dude is gonna grab somebody's booty because they feel like it on set. You know, that is problematic, and she will come back and say no. You know, no, you actually, that's not allowed. You are going to apologize to this girl. You're never going to do this again. And, or we're leaving your set. All my girls are going because you have disrespected us. You have violated your contract. So I love that we are in that space now where, as women, we can say, I'm sexy. And I love it when you know, like my favorite woman, Moonchild Sanelli. Like, I love how you can never ever use her sex against her. You can never ever use her sexiness against her because Moonchild went out and said, flip, I'm no sexy. I have the best booty in South Africa. I will show it. I will shake it. I own it. It's so beautiful because initially everyone was like shocked, like, whoa, girl, like, isn't that a little too much? And it's like I don't care, because I have tried to be humble and conservative and had that used against me, like had my sexuality used as a weapon by whoever had access to it. So I'm going to own it and put it out there so that no one else can use it, you know, against me, because it's mine now. Like, everybody knows I own it.
Another thing, when you speak about Moonchild, a lot of people like to censor her, whether it's mainstream television or mainstream radio. And the censorship, because there is censorship, people can call this explicit. Now, how do we go and share with people watching this and those who might catch a clip and differentiate what explicit means and what expression means through your own body? You know what I mean? And the reason I'm asking you this question, because you communicate well when it comes to styling people, but you're also a firm believer in everybody's got rights, and it's no one's place to decide where your rights end and where they start. You know, it's only up to the Constitution. So how do you break down to someone saying, censorship has led to you assuming and believing this is explicit? How do you unlearn that and also appreciate that this person is expressing themselves through what the only thing that they have is their body?
It's really a tough one to explain, especially to people who are set on their ways. Like, there's people who are totally set in their ways, and it doesn't matter what you say. You can stand there and say, but this is my body. These are my boobs. I am putting the stuff on OnlyFans because it's mine. and they don't get it. They'll still be mad at you, for it. So it's a very hard one to explain, but I feel like the more we go out there and actually, the more people own it, the more we dilute the censorship. You know what I mean? Like girls on yachts in thongs posting that stuff out on Instagram is big deal. Like girls who actually just sell sexuality, whether it's oils, whether it's with dance, like this is my brand. I'm a sexual being, and I host classes on how girls can be sensual. Even men, how they can be sensual. I think the more we see that, the more the censorship is diluted, and we will be left with people who will sit on the corner and point fingers and judge, but they won't be able to be loud about it, because the majority of people will now be in a position where expression is where it's at, and explicit ain't no thing, because the more women own their bodies, I feel like the safer they are in the environment that we live in, because it's easier. We tell young girls to close their legs when they sit. You're sexualizing a little person who just wants to play.
And wants to be free.
They want to be free, and they should be. But you as a grown-up are sexualizing them. You as their mother are sexualizing them. Kwala penti. Girls don't sit like that. But she's a baby. She's just sitting, because you gotta sit.
While you are making that point, I just want to throw this at you. People who tell women what to wear and what not to wear. I'm sorry. I just had to come in because I felt it was the right opportunity, because everybody gets it. Everybody gets it when a grown-up tells a child on how to sit. Or girls don't do that. Boys don't do that. No, bro. You don't do that. Let the child be free.
Don't project your childhood traumas onto an innocent child that doesn't know. The moment you tell a 4-year-old to close their legs, they spend the rest of their life questioning what's between their legs. And anyone can then define that for them. And then they start feeling shame that they never had. Like, why are you trying to shame a 3-year-old for doing cartwheels in a dress? She's expressing herself. But then that's where the censorship actually begins for girls at home with your loved ones, telling you, you don't sit like that, you don't play with boys like that. Why are you taking off your top? You're 4, you don't know. Breasts are not sexual organs. Breasts feed babies. So when you're telling a 4-year-old to wear a t-shirt, you're basically telling them that their entire body is sex. It's a sexual object. And they don't know, because you don't explain to them why you're telling them to cover up. You just tell them, girls don't do that.
Last night I was talking to Kifilwe, she's my wife.
I know.
I said, I need to always say that. Because it's like, who's Kifilwe, bro? So we're talking about Kifilwe, and I'm talking to Kifilwe, and I said to her, do you think Kaya knows gender? Kaya is my daughter who's 8 months old. And she's like, Kaya knows biology. So she knows that men are bigger than women, voice is different. That's like all like, that's the physical, I've got a beard, and she knows that mama's got boobs and you don't. That's why you never see her trying to suck your nipple, And I was like, yeah, so that's and then we have these, let's call them can and cannot do boundaries. And I'm using the term boundaries loosely in this regard because I don't think that's the word that I should be using. But we set these limitations based on how we want people to be conditioned according to us. Now, this leads me to my next thing. I don't know if you had another point you were going.
You can carry on. You can carry on.
It leads me to the next part. Do you think that patriarchy is the reason for all of those set limitations? It's a 2-part question. And if it is the reason, why do you say so? And if it's not the reason, Why?
Yes, patriarchy is. It's such a deeply engraved conditioning that the unlearning thereof is becoming a huge mission for everyone growing up now, the babies that we're giving birth to. But the beauty of it is that we are at the age where we are aware. I think most of us are aware of the patriarchy and how it has conditioned a lot of things and has resulted in a lot of things happening, that we are able to, our kids, our babies are able to grow up in an unlearning, you know. I say this because for as long as I remember, women do and exist for the service and benefit of men. And there are laws and rules set on how women should, women must. Men cannot, men mustn't, you know, in pretty much everything. In the workplace, at home, child rearing, in so many things that it becomes really frustrating because explaining how that affects you as a human being now who is aware becomes extremely hard for a man that was raised with that entitlement, because basically that's all it is. Men are entitled to and women should.
Men are entitled to and women are subjected to. Yes. And that's how the world.
And that's how the world.
And if you don't get it,
you're not gonna get married. You're not gonna be happy. You're gonna, like, your man is gonna leave you. Your in-laws are not gonna like you.
And all those things are not true.
And they're not true.
Those things are used as a tool of fear.
It's mind play.
So, for someone who's like super, like, I can't believe a patriarchal person is watching this, but hey, these things exist. Watching this is like, is this an attack on patriarchy? What do you have to say to them?
It is. Patriarchy must be attacked with all guns blazing at all times for as long as it exists.
So the reason why I said it like that, because I think patriarchy is an attack on women and children. And as a father of an 8-month-old and a husband who's been married for just over 2 years, I am like, what a disadvantage I have going into this building a family with these set beliefs that nobody consulted with me whether I like them or I would like to practice them. It was just imposed on me and forced, and somehow conditioning and teaching has resulted in my subconscious always referring back to the conditioning. So as a woman who's got a son, who knows that, as we have put it today during this time, that patriarchy is an attack on women and children, how are you going to teach your child, number one, to be aware of this thing that is the elephant in the room, and how, with censorship, it has been used to, push its agenda? He's a young boy, and that's like this is so beautiful that we're having this conversation, because I'm thinking too much. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's yeah. So what are you gonna teach your son about that and the realities of life, and knowing your experience, your lived experience, and how you are not trying to inflict trauma and pain without knowing, because there's nothing as worse as inflicting trauma and pain without knowledge or insight.
I mean, I feel like the learning starts from a very early age, and kids learn by seeing and not by being told. And so it's basically just making sure that the environment that he's in is an unconditioning, so it doesn't reinforce all of that nonsense that the patriarchy enforces. I think just living by example is a great place to start, and I mean, I allow him to be, he chooses his own clothes. It doesn't. I've bought him pink from when he was born. I'm unbothered. If I like an item of clothing, I'm gonna buy it for him. I don't care if it's in the girls department or the boys department, because who decided that colors belong to a certain gender? Like, I don't know that person, so I don't care about their opinion really, because boys look really good in pink. So he wears anything. He loves my jewelry. So if he wants to step out of the house wearing pearls, I don't care. He gets his hair done and plaited, and because he's got big hair. And I mean, I've had a couple of people comment, "Oh, he looks like a girl." Okay. You shouldn't do his hair like that. He looks like a girl.
Those things, they say them to you with him around you. But let me tell you one thing happens, right? When he's at school by himself, and every kid who's conditioned to believe in patriarchy sees him expressing himself, they're going to say the same things. Oh, he looks like a girl. How do you now equip him to shrug it off? Because essentially your body language said, I just shrug it off, because it's not a real thing. It's just an opinion of someone.
I talk to him. It's very weird. Like, I talk to him like he's 2, but we have like proper conversations. Right. I don't know if he understands yet, but I feel like reinforcing that, like having these, So I remind him that your friend P at school, a white boy, has long hair. Sure. And nobody questions his long hair. No one. No one says P looks like a boy because he's got a bob. No one. So it starts there, where us as a black people are out here, like we are the biggest enforcers of this nonsense, and it frustrates me because half the people that say he looks like a girl are black people, are black women. When we step out to the shops and he's wearing pearls, you'll have a black man go, "What a pretty little girl." No, he's a boy. Why are you letting him wear pearls? Why do his pearls bother you so much? He's 2. Why are you bothered by a little boy wearing pearls? Pearls are a piece of jewelry, and no way was it said that pearls are for women. No way. No way.
It does. It does. And the crazy.
It's a picture that's created.
The craziest thing, to be honest.
Because look at you with your nail polish.
Yeah, the craziest thing, anything and everything that was created is unisex. Only our beliefs, our ignorance, and reinforcement through being pushy and persuasive for whatever agenda, we've decided to genderize things. If something like when it comes to men and women, there's the separation between men and women is reproduction. That's the only separation. So one comes with the seed, and then the seed can grow inside of a woman. That's like the only thing. The woman does not have a seed, the man does not have a womb. That's the only, it ends there. So we've decided to take reproduction and reinforce, like, whether we are like our fears, our let me call it incompetence of choosing not to push ourselves. Incompetence in pushing yourself or motivating yourself. And it's like, let's just blame it on women, put it on women. Let's put it on women. And it's so easy for us to do that. Coming from a South African man who was raised by his dad, it's the craziest thing, right? Like, I'm going to make this very short. Coming from a man who was raised by a South African man, by his dad. In like my life, I was made to believe that my mom was the bad person and she left me. And I was made to believe this by my dad. Now, this is a grown-up, bro. Yeah. My dad could not eventually get to a place where he's like, nah, bro, you know what? The story is X, Y, and Z. Instead of making me believe that my mother doesn't want to be with me, so she's just there. And he is here, so I must just live. And you know the craziest thing that did? Here's the crazy. You don't have context to the story, by the way, but I'm giving you like the craziest shit that has happened. The craziest shit that has happened is I don't have a relationship with my biological mother, who's alive, and I don't have a relationship with my biological father, who raised me, who's still alive. And I'm just like going through this whirlwind of emotions and resentment and trauma, and like I spent so much money on therapy just trying to get through this shit, and now it's on this shit. It's like, and that time I've got a daughter and a wife, and I need to make sure that whatever I do, bro, I protect and I focus on building the family. Like, not protecting my wife or child, protecting the family, you know? And it's sometimes like, it's so hard to just navigate that without thinking about like, hey, can I have a relationship with your mother? You don't have a relationship with your dad and you're figuring this out. So,
your reference point.
You know, so I think, and this is also like part conversations we are going to have. And the reason why I had to bring this at the end, not in closing, but at the end of our conversation, is because some of the pains and the hurts and the traumas that men have gone through, they've internalized so much, and patriarchy is a scapegoat, or it can be like a crutch to hold on to and not account to your ill behavior, etc., etc. Last but not least, Lufuno, before I let you go, you got to leave us with something. We've already taken a lot, more than scuffed. This is not a lunchbox. We need to unpack this. This is like a dinner. Last but not least, with an attack on women and children, what is the best response? Have you thought about it? Does it exist?
I don't. It's a very scary place to be. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I feel like we numb ourselves as women, and just we've kind of learned to brush a lot of things off because we're scared, because the attack is so real. You know, it's so real. Like, even with the smallest things, like, you can feel that, you know, and it's scary. And what I'm realizing is that a lot of us are just like, I'll focus on protecting my offspring. I'll focus on changing the narrative through them, because it's probably a little too late for me, you know. I mean, if you're blessed with a good partner that listens to you, you can do the work there. And I see it. I'm surrounded by women who are married or partnered up with like remarkable men who are willing to sit down and listen, go to therapy and learn and unlearn, you know. And that's a blessing. Like, but yeah, I feel like it starts within us and our partners, and helping them unlearn while we teach our kids a different way, you know. Because us as women, we can speak and shout and fight as much as we can. Not everyone is listening. Already, the moment you say something, the egos are already out here. What about us? What about the men? The men, you know, like, I could be speaking and sharing a lived experience, but there's also a man who's gonna come back and say, yeah, I hear you, but what about me? And it's like, I'm sharing my lived experience, and you using that as permission to share yours. Share yours without dismissing mine, you know? So, as much as we don't want to be used as punching bags, we end up being by just being ourselves, by just fighting back. The moment you fight back, you have 8 boxing gloves in your direction. I mean, the one incident I can speak of is, it's a bit grim, but when Ricky passed on, AKA posted that long ass rant about how ladies should. I wanted to punch him through the phone. I've never felt so disrespected as a woman, because we go through so much. We are therapists, we are girlfriends, we are wives, we are mothers, we are cleaners, we are all these things to our men. We ask, we beg, we plead, talk to me, share. Okay, you don't feel safe enough to talk to me and share with me. Therapy. Who can you talk to? Who do you want to talk to? Let me take you there. Flip, I'll pay for your sessions. Yeah. Brush it off. Carry on with life. Internalize. Suffer in silence. Suffer by yourself. Something drastic happens. Then you come out and you say, ladies, you ladies must. Ladies should. Like we ain't been doing nothing. You were raised by a freaking woman who adores you. And you still fall by the wayside. And even when you fall by the wayside, she picks you up, embraces you, defends you, washes the wounds off of you, nurses you back to good health. And then because of your own lack of accountability for self, you're going to turn around and still point fingers at the same woman? Madness. And that's why it must start one by one, woman by woman, in your home, making sure that your kids never have to experience that, and calling your man to order when they go off by the wayside. But also, we can't say our mothers. It's late because our mothers raised the men that we're with right now. And they raised them based on what they knew. The patriarchy, it was rife then, it was deep, it's ingrained within them.
And I think this is also like another battle or like another fight where from a generational point of view, yes, you are disadvantaged, but you actually have the strength and life to do better by the following generation, the one that's coming after you, like leaving it better than you found it. Because we know we found it bad, but we didn't know it was bad until because when you wake up, here's the thing though, man, like about waking up, it's like you are aware of your surrounding. And a lot of us are sleeping. We are just zombies. But like a lot of us are sleeping because of pain. A lot of us are sleeping because of stress. We have, so, and look, man, I didn't invite you here to like try and take over what you were saying, but thank you so much for coming through and sharing your truth, even though like time is limited. I think we need to do a recap. Same thing, but recapping on the things that we have touched on. And like the reason why we want to do that recap is for two things. This conversation is a conversation where we need to both engage. We are engaged. You are watching this. You can also be engaged. The things that you pick up, the things that you hear, the things that you resonate with, the things that you don't resonate with, we are more than willing to give you time and have a conversation around it. Because I feel like anytime, this is me and this is what I experience, like real talk. I can't believe I experienced this shit. Anytime and every time someone opens their mouth, that is a woman, I'm scared that they're going to complain. Like before they even say anything. So I need to deal with that, right? Like in my personal capacity where I'm not like waiting to hear if I have a solution to the complaint or if they're even going to complain. I haven't heard, like they open and I'm like, So that is a journey I need to walk. And I also need to work on like listening, not to react or respond, but to understand. Listen to understand. And in this exercise, I will be doing it with the help of my friend here. So yeah, thank you so much for linking up with us and spending time to unpack some of our truth. We just touched the surface, I think. Some of our truth as a people, as leaders in our household, because we've got babies, and also as people who want to be remembered for something good, standing for something. And I'm using the word good because there's no other one that I can use. I'm not better than you. She's not better than you. Nobody's better. We just want to be good, And I believe we can plow back by having these uncomfortable conversations. Well, this one is not really uncomfortable for you and I, but it might be uncomfortable for you watching. We invite you to be a part of the conversation. Thank you so much. It's 5FM Unrestricted, Unscripted, or is it the other way around? Yeah. Thank you so much.